Hello and good morning. My name is Craig Yetter, and I'm with PennDOT Driver and Vehicle Services. I'd like to welcome everyone to today's event. We hope that sharing information on school transportation safety with you today will help raise awareness of the challenges faced by drivers, students, and transportation officials alike as we experience a time change and enter the holiday season. We have with us today government, law enforcement, and local education and transportation representatives who work hard every day to address these challenges. We'll start things off with PennDOT Deputy Secretary for Driver and Vehicle Services, Kurt Myers. Deputy Myers.
Well, good morning. I'm pleased to serve as PennDOT's Deputy Secretary for Driver and Vehicle Services. Thanks everyone for joining us today to call attention to an ongoing safety challenge that is a matter of life and death for our school children. In light of the danger posed to our children by inattentive drivers who disobey the school bus stopping law, our event today holds great significance. All drivers must be alert and cautious when approaching school buses and stops. The tragic fact is that too often drivers ignore the warning lights on school buses and try to pass them, putting our children in jeopardy. And this is just not acceptable. Statewide, there were 56 school districts and 164 law enforcement agencies that participated in Operation Safe Stop this year. There were 252 violations of the school bus stopping law reported by school bus drivers and law enforcement agencies during this year's campaign. 252 in one day, with a limited number of participating school bus districts as well as law enforcement. Now keep in mind, these are violations reported in just one day, with only a percentage of our school districts and law enforcement agencies participating. So this is only a small portion of what likely is going on across Pennsylvania. The bottom line is that every incident involves a risk to school-aged children, period. Now, just imagine how many incidents go unreported, and that should give you an idea of why we are here today. In 2020, there were 313 convictions of Pennsylvania school bus stopping law, down from 726 in 2019. With every school occurrence of a violation, the school bus stopping law, there is a potential for disaster. We need to do better. One student hurt is one too many. With the approach of the holidays and the pressure of preparing for them, all drivers must remember to keep their focus on the road and be especially watchful in school zones and around school bus stops. We want everyone to be able to enjoy the holidays instead of facing the tragic consequences of an avoidable crash. Students must also remember that safety is paramount around the bus and at the bus stop. It is extremely important to avoid any horseplay at and around the school bus stop and within the school zone. To complicate matters, yesterday was the end of daylight savings time. Times of lower light condition or darkness will now begin to align with school bus schedules at the beginning of the school day and after-school activities. Please keep this in mind when you get behind the wheel or going to or from work. My message is simple. Respect the school buses and their precious passengers, our children. Keep alert around school buses and in school zones. And when the warning lights start flashing and the stop arm comes out, stop. Please, please pay attention and keep our children safe. I'll now turn things over to Corporal Zena Black, Permits and Bus Safety Unit Supervisor for the Pennsylvania State Police. Zena?
Thank you, Deputy Secretary Myers, and distinguished guests. Good morning. I'm Corporal Zena Black, Supervisor of the Permits and Bus Safety Unit within the Commercial Vehicle Safety Division with the Pennsylvania State Police. Each year, more than 1.5 million children depend on school buses to get them to and from school. And Pennsylvania State Police take their safety very seriously. Over the summer, troopers inspected close to 24,000 school buses across the Commonwealth in preparation for the 2021-2022 school year. Every school bus that carries students undergoes a minimum of a 65-point inspection during the summer and are spot checked throughout the school year. The state police are committed to conducting these checks on a yearly basis. We are doing our part. Now we ask for you to do yours. Title 75, Section 3345 states that all traffic shall stop at least 10 feet prior to reaching a school bus that has their red lights flashing and side stop arm activated. The only exception is when the highway is clearly divided by a physical barrier. If a driver is ever in doubt, the right thing to do is stop. The potential consequence for passing a stopped school bus could be dire. That's why the penalties for those who break the law are severe. Drivers convicted of violating Pennsylvania's bus stopping law will receive a 60-day driver's license suspension, 5 points on their driver's license, and a $250 fine. But this pales in comparison to the devastation a child may endure from injury or the pain a family may be forced to suffer if their child is taken from them. Police departments across the Commonwealth participate in Operation Safe Stop every year, a detail focused on catching those that pass stopped school buses. However, the Pennsylvania State Police, in conjunction with our municipal police departments, are committed to enforcing the school bus stopping law all year long. Finally, we would like to thank all the drivers who do follow the law. Your behavior behind the wheel sets the example for others and promotes safety on the roads. Thank you for your commitment to keeping our children safe. I would like to introduce the Department of Education School Safety Education Advisor, John Cashadas.
Thank you, Corporal Black, distinguished guests. As the School Safety Education Advisor at the Pennsylvania Department of Education, my work daily reflects the commitment to the safety of our students, whether they're on the school's campus or being transported to and from. Student safety at school bus stops is a top priority, which requires the cooperation and attention of all motorists. Local school districts work hard to identify the safest locations possible for school bus stops and to train their staff. However, the unfortunate reality is that there is no perfect school bus stop because it is impossible to eliminate all potential hazards. Knowing this, it is so critical that we work together to ensure that we keep our students safe on their way to school and back home. First, guidelines and training are critical to ensure that responsible parties are making the safest, most informed decisions when placing school bus stops. But the public plays a role in keeping students safe as well. All drivers must remain vigilant, watch for the flashing red lights of school buses, and always stop when students are getting on and off the school bus. There's no meeting or appointment or errand that is more important than a child's well-being. Finally, our students need to be aware that their surroundings when they're getting on and off the school bus, and you need to pay attention to those surroundings. Some tips for students to remember include getting to the school bus stop 5 minutes early so you won't have to run across the road to catch the bus. Staying away from traffic while you're waiting for the school bus. Lining up at least 5 giant steps away from the curb or the roadway to wait for the bus. Never run after a school bus that has already left the bus stop. Never push when getting on and off the school bus. By remembering these practices and working together, we can all ensure that Pennsylvania students are safely transported to school and back. Thank you. I'd like to turn the podium over now to West Shore School District Superintendent, Dr. Todd Stoltz.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Todd Stoltz. I'm the superintendent of West Shore School District. For more than a decade, we've been a proud partner with the Department of Motor Vehicles, PennDOT, the state police, our local township police officers in participating in Operation Safe Stop. Each year, our buses travel more than 1 million miles with more than 75 runs being conducted each morning and each afternoon. We are grateful for our drivers and our partner in our bus transportation service. There's a lot that is on a driver's mind when they're out there on the road and to keep an eye on. So we need the public's help in making sure that they're doing their part in stopping when the red lights are flashing. Even when you see the amber lights come on, you should be signaling and coming to a stop as that is happening. As the seasons change here, I know there were earlier comments about that. Now is the time to get adjusted again and be even more vigilant in the mornings and in the evening time as daylight will take a little longer to come out. We have buses out on the road as early as 6:30 a.m. It will still be dark over winter at that time. And we have buses that are probably wrapping up at 4:30 or so, just as dusk is approaching through this winter season. So again, we're appreciative for all of our partners in law enforcement, not only to support Operation Safe Stop on a single day, but on every day when we unfortunately have to make those reports. At this time, I'd like to introduce Corporal Taminoski from Lower Allen Township Police.
Thank you, Dr. Stoltz. Again, I'm Corporal Rick Taminoski with Lower Allen Police Department. I want to thank you for having us here, including us in the press conference today. Obviously, the biggest thing here we're talking about is the safety of our children. That's of utmost importance. So, again, for drivers out there, be patient. Pay attention to the buses in front of you. It's our kids getting on and off these buses. Corporal Black touched on the law side of things here that you could be looking at the repercussions from there. The biggest thing is you could harm a kid. So, be aware. Also, just to build on what she had said, some buses are equipped with side stop arm enforcement systems. If a driver's caught by one of those systems, actually the owner of the vehicle can be cited. So it's not even a matter of, hey, can we identify the driver? It's the owner can be cited for that violation. That's a $300 fine. Again, be aware. As Lower Allen Township Police Department, we get reports from our drivers of violations. We follow up on those seriously and look to hold the drivers accountable. I want to thank our bus drivers who every day take the time to safely transport our kids, and I want to encourage them to, if a violation occurs, make sure you fill out the form, report it, get it to us together, local police department, state police. We're working together to keep the roads safe. Thank you for your time. Mr. Yetter.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us here today. We also have Mr. Adam Fieser. He's the first student transportation coordinator here, and he'll answer questions on matters facing school bus drivers locally. And we also have the Director of Communications for the Pennsylvania State Police, Brent Miller. So we'll open the floor for questions now. No one has any questions? We are good. Thank you all for coming. Please drive safely and always remember to watch for students along the road and obey the school bus stopping law.